Was the president of the United States being racist? Many of you believed he was. We talked about it on the show. Well, today he's insisting his tweets telling four minority congresswomen to go back to the country that they came from are not racist. Trump tweeted this saying, "Those tweets were not racist. I do not have a racist bone in my body." Meantime, the four congresswomen responded to the president's comments. Take a look.
First note that I want to tell children across this country is that no matter what the president says, this country belongs to you.
I encourage the American people and all of us in this room and beyond to not take the bait. This is a disruptive distraction from the issues of care, concern, and consequence to the American people.
This is the agenda of white nationalists. Whether it is happening in chat rooms or it's happening on national TV, and now it's reached the White House garden.
And on social media, here's where it takes a different turn. And this is where I actually love social media, is when you see people share their personal stories, because I think that is what breeds empathy. So many of you shared your personal stories about when someone told you go back to your own country. A lot of celebrities also shared their stories, like comedian Kumail Nanjiani, who tweeted, "I've heard go back to your country, your own country, many, many times. Most recently was about a month and a half ago in LA. It hurts my feelings every time." And Padma Lakshmi tweeted her experience saying, quote, "Go back to your country is a taunt immigrant kids here on the playground. It's a threat I get from unhinged people in my DMs. And it's also something the president of the United States says to strong women of color who oppose him." And like we said on the show yesterday, listen, Democrat, Republican, you gotta denounce racism when you see it. You gotta call it what it is. This is not a topic of discussion for debate here. It was racist, but what I do like seeing, Erica, is I love seeing Republicans and Democrats, because I looked at under that hashtag, I saw so many people share their personal story. Do you think that will be enough to spark empathy and create some sort of change?
You know, I don't know what is going to create empathy for people who lack empathy. One thing is very clear to me, though. When we post, like yesterday we had this conversation and it was posted on Twitter, and of course there were people who were very, very fired up about it, asking if I could read and things like that.
Wow.
And I appreciate that they want to know that. The answer is yes. But here's the thing. We're very prepared for these conversations. Like, when you want to talk about racism and empathy and tolerance and intolerance, I'm 38 years old. You just joined this conversation. I've lived this conversation my entire life. So when people want to talk about, well, let's talk about this nuance and this and that, it's like, I know this conversation. You're just deciding to be a part of it because you've never had to deal with it before. So I really feel like some of us are a little bit more equipped to have the conversation than others, but I invite everyone to join in on the conversation.
That is well said. That is well said. And so with that being said, I mean, only Jeff and I can empathize. We can only empathize as two people who know their white privilege. Have you ever been, do you have a story that you would like to share in light of this hashtag?
Well, I mean, we were looking at that tweet from my buddy Kumail. I remember talking to him back when The Meltdown was still on Sunset, and we had just done a show. And, he was well known at this point. He was getting super famous. And I was asking him, do you know people from high school that are now seeing you now and kind of regretful? And he was telling me that there were people in high school that said those things to him. There's just casually, now he's Kumail. But, I mean, back then he was just a brown kid in a school where very few people look like him. So, when you talk about empathizing, I think it goes, obviously color is a huge part of it, but it goes to your ideology. When you feel like you're not welcome and then somebody reinforces that by saying it to you, to your face, and no one backs you up, I think that's the thing that's most hurtful.
It doesn't even make sense. This isn't white people's country either.
But I mean, we're talking about an ideology that doesn't make sense.
I know. I totally agree. God, it's just, yeah.
But I'm gonna, just like the president, I'm gonna double down on what I said yesterday. I'm not gonna let one guy dictate how I feel, because I know there are more Jeff Schroeders and David, our wonderful stage manager, and Stu's out there but they never go on the internet and say anything, but I know that they're out there, and I'm not going to let this guy cloud my vision about the good people that surround me. So just make sure you keep that in mind. The world ain't racist because one dude is.
All right, fair enough. Thank you.